Daily moves up or down are opportunities, not just manipulation. Yes, manipulation exists. It always has, and it always will. That will never change. But listen to this. The real objective is education. Learning how to adjust and adapt to the current form of manipulation at any given moment in time. Reread that. Let that sink in. Let that become who you become in 2026. Your feed shapes your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. I encourage you guys to implement this principle as we head into 2026. Understand that the information that you channel to your conscious and subconscious mind, even if you're the type of person that maybe goes to sleep with the TV on in the background, like that all plays a very important role on who you are, who you become, what you manifest in your life.
And it goes hand in hand with what you know about the markets and what you've been saying as well, Cypress. So,
Bro, perfect transition, honest to God. Yeah, man, I think that there is a massive misalignment right now amongst what is actually happening in the market and what people are expecting, what is being said amongst influencers that, in my personal opinion, honest to God, guys and gals, just after what I'm going to show you right now, I have a firm belief that 99% of high-end big follow channel influencers on the internet actually have no idea what they're talking about. Like seriously, I really truly think that there should be laws and regulations around influential manipulation on the internet. I personally believe, I mean, obviously, of course, it definitely taps into the whole freedom of speech debacle and whatnot, but I firmly believe that if you're putting out straight up lies on the internet in regards to the financial markets and you're getting compensated for those lies financially based off of views and likes on social media, I think that should be made illegal because it's happening at a granular scale, and it's misleading the masses to a point of no return. Like people are seriously going to not be able to survive in the coming years ahead because of this manipulation. And so you guys are at a very, very and just interesting turning point in human consciousness, human awareness, and just again in this community, I cannot stress enough the amount of information that we put out is just so ahead of what everybody else is tapped into. So just like what Aqua said, you guys can see my screen, right? I'll go on to the spiel. I'm just going to talk about the recent events that have taken place ever since the market pullback. First off, months ago, before this pullback even started, me and Aqua had been warning people. I remember we played a video clip of the Tether co-founder. Do you remember that, bro? We played that clip of the Tether co-founder, and he was like, look, nobody's going to sell the top. The best option is for you as an investor to just hodl down, earn yield on your rewards, and stop thinking that you're some active day trader. Now, here we are, and how many people either listening to this as a recording or still on this live call right now are holding through this pullback? Most likely all of us, if you're not a day trader, didn't actively gauge the top, right?
mhm.
So the safest thing would have been to park your assets in yield bearing, structures and wait for the long run, right? Not try to guess a market bottom or top. But outside of that, just the amount of mass manipulation amongst the large following accounts is just, it's literally all of them. I'm like, watch what I'm going to show you guys. This is pretty damn crazy. So I said here, one thing that I've learned after 9 years in this market is that wisdom isn't just about what you study, it is about who you stop giving your attention to. Social media is loud. Real growth comes when you learn to overlook the noise and follow people who actually live what they teach. Real growth comes when you learn to overlook the noise and, like I said, follow people who actually live what they teach. Your feed shapes your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. I encourage you guys to implement this principle as we head into 2026. Understand that the information that you channel to your conscious and subconscious mind, even if you're the type of person that maybe goes to sleep with the TV on in the background, like that all plays a very important role on who you are, who you become, what you manifest in your life. Like real, guys and gals, and I don't think enough people understand that. Even people on the internet that are like, "Oh, I just tap into it for entertainment and hopium because it's nice to think or hope that XRP is going to go to some high price in the future." It's just trapping you in this cycle of it never happening because it's not how most people are going to get wealthy. That is not how, if you are planning to become a multi-millionaire, you're going to get it. You're going to get there. It's just not. It's not a reality. If it was, it would have already happened by now, right? So protect your attention like it's a form of currency because it is. Again, your attention is a form of currency that these influencers feed off of.
Facts.
In 2026, follow those who help you level up, not lose yourself in unrealistic hype. And so coming over here, I'm just going to start to show you guys this stuff. This is honestly, and I know a lot of people will be in the comments and be like, "Oh, it's so crappy when you're talking about other influencers, Cypress, because it makes you look bad." Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm so tired of people not being intellectually inclined enough to see through lies and would rather follow the lies instead of someone who spends their entire time pointing them out. Who raised you? Who raised you to support this type of bullshit? This should not be allowed on the internet in the markets that we operate in. We always talk about banks and institutions manipulating the market. Well, what about the influencers? What about the retailers who are manipulating the markets? Because that's real too. This dude here, I don't know this person, but with 844,000 followers, you would think that there'd be some common sense and logic behind his posts, right? Check this out. This is from December 17th, and he said, "Who is left? We need to know what happened on October 10th," which is again the day, a couple days after the market started pulling back. "It's very apparent that the market broke that day and nothing has been the same since. We haven't seen Bitcoin or alts trade like this since 2018. We need answers," right? Look at the impressions, over almost a million impressions on this post. So how many souls are consuming this garbage? This is why 99% of retail traders lose, guys, because they're consuming this. They automatically assume confusion. They automatically assume that there are no answers, that there is no equation to what's happening. But look at our team down here at the bottom. Here's T Flowers. You guys know him, Thomas, right? He's in our community. He's always on the calls. Respect to you, sir. Get with Cypress, myself. He prepared his community in the Wealth 28 Club and CYPRX Superior Traders for this. This was called out to us in the Discord and Zoom call with timestamps, days, months in advance. Hawkish cut by the Fed, prepared for yen rates to be priced in, etc. Okay. And he's right. We do have timestamps. Remember this Zoom call that we were on October 6th as a community, you guys and gals? We did this as a team. When the market was trading at 4.24 trillion, I didn't come up with this list alone. We all did this as a team on the community Zoom call and talked about what would reverse the market completely. And look, this is how I'm going to blow your mind. This is how I'm going to prove to you guys that what we're talking about in this community is what the big players know. So we pointed out hawkish Fed tone. We talked about stronger than expected economic data pushing back on rate cuts. We talked about the Bank of Japan policy and yen strengthening, leading to possible unwind of carry trades, and the market starting to price that in would all lead to a drastic market pullback. Couple that with our institutional delta zones, that is exactly what we got. And we did this days in advance before the market even corrected. Now, fast forward to look at this. This is from a podcast that was streamed on December 1st, 2025 from Unchained, 72,000 subscribers. And you have four gentlemen here sitting on this panel discussion. Listen real fast. Let me share my screen again so you guys can hear, share with sound. Listen to what they're talking about. Okay. And I'm going to show you the credentials of the people on this podcast. Keep in mind what we were talking about months in advance before it even took, or days in advance before the pullback took place. Okay. Now, fast forward to what they're talking about now on this podcast days later. Take a second here and just listen.
Let's start with Chris here. Chris, what do you make of this as somebody who's been in forex markets yourself?
Well, look, I think we talked about it last week, and the unwind of the carry trade has been looming in the background. It's obviously, if you have a scoreboard, I think it's a negative on the sheet. We're going to talk about some of the positive things that we're seeing as well. But it's a little bit different. Last correction that we saw, where markets were shocked in August of 24. And that really hit prices.
I just wanted you guys to kind of hear some of the principles that they're talking about. They go on to talk about the current market environment, the yen carry trade unwinds, the pushback on rate cuts, and how the market has recently declined because of this uncertain market environment. Okay. Again, all things that now they're talking about on December 1st, 2025, that we were touching on months in advance. This is all going to full circle on this little presentation that I have for you guys. But let's just take a look at these dudes' credentials. Okay. So Christopher Perkins, the guy who you were just listening to, and mind you, look at who follows this dude. Okay, so Loretta Joseph, we've covered this lady. She literally writes digital asset legislation in Australia, follows this guy. So he's not just some random dude. Look at his credentials down here. He's the president and managing partner of Coin Fund right now. He was a member of global markets in the advisory committee at the CFTC, a member of the board of advisors at the Academy of Securities. Okay, so he's not just some freaking random dude. He's got valid credentials. He knows what he's talking about, and he's specifically talking about yen carry trade unwinds, uncertainty, the pullback that's recently taken place. Here's another dude, Ram. I'm not going to butcher his last name. We come down here and look at his rap sheet. Okay, executive head of digital assets at freaking Cross River. What? CEO and founder of Lumedia. He was also a principal portfolio manager at Wingfoot Capital and a senior vice president at Bank of America. Okay. We come over here, the last dude, Alston Campbell, that's hosting the podcast. He was, you look at his credentials, the CEO and founder of Zero Knowledge Group. Okay. So the same people sitting on panel discussions now talking about this stuff days after the event taking place are talking about what we discussed as a community months in advance. And so back to this dude, Elio Trades, the answers are there. People have answers to market manipulation. Everybody thinks when they hear market manipulation that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Markets have been manipulated for years in the past, in the present, and they're going to continue to be manipulated in the future. It's never going to change. It's never going to change. Market makers are always going to find a way to manipulate the markets. But these retail investors, again, this is the stuff you got to block out from your feed. Look at this guy, Jack the Rippler, 435,000 followers. He posted this yesterday, December 18th, 2025. Rumors are XRP's value is expected to surge due to Japan's interest rate hike tomorrow. 89,000 impressions. Okay. Look at this guy. This blew my fucking mind, y'all. Okay. Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker, 1 million followers on Twitter. Still no common sense. Look at this. The Bank of Japan raised rates and we didn't die in an explosion of toxic hellfire. Turns out markets don't really care about much these days. So I said, no, man, that's not how it works. It's just that the market's priced in rate hikes ahead of time, right? Like, how am I educating dudes that have millions of freaking followers? It's insane. It's ass backwards, right? Look at the freaking algorithm right now, guys. On September 28th, okay, I posted an entire backlog of bank documents that are shared in our community, and I specifically said, speculating that a yen carry trade unwind is going to pump the cryptocurrency market is completely detached from both geopolitical and actual market reality. And look at the comments. You said a whole buttload of nothing. Shut up, dude. And I said to this individual, I wish you the best, my friend. Even after you tell me to shut up, I hope you stand up. Stand up for what is right, what is good, and what is real education. All it takes is a mindset shift. Come January 2026, we will see who is providing real information and who was not. It's simple. And this individual, the wizard man, says, okay, you'll be wrong. But yet here we are, right? Here we are. And so if we go back showing you guys that in this community, again, days in advance, this is our report from December 5th, right? 2025. I specifically said, be prepared where if the markets are pre-pricing a rate hike now, which they were, there is a potential for a sell the rumor, buy the news dynamic, meaning worst case outcomes may already be baked into the market. And what did we see today? Exactly that. We made this public where we read this to the general public 2 days ago. Now, fast forward to today, everybody was thinking that the market was going to continue to crash. However, today the crypto market rallied 80 to $100 billion. It was a literal sell the rumor, buy the news event. It didn't pump the markets to sky high, but we didn't see a massive depreciating event that took place like everybody was expecting due to unwinding carry trades. And we prepped you guys for all this stuff. And so that leads me over to this last post because an individual here who in his bio, and I'm honestly at the point where I don't really care. I'm not trying to protect anybody's validity anymore. But literally in this dude's bio, it says MBA, acquiring businesses and stacking crypto, mentor on how to buy and grow companies, DM to stop trading time for money. No idea why anybody would want to DM this guy for advice or how to grow money and wealth when he said here at this post, the manipulation in the markets is so big right now that it's not even worth making any predictions or even analyzing the charts at this point. They're controlling the narrative. You just have to believe in what you hold and be patient. And so my professional response to this was much love, my brother, as always, because I'm not here to deteriorate anybody's credibility or their social media platforms or anything. I'm just here to show you guys that right now the algorithm is ass backwards. The algorithm is pumping out to everybody the false information and keeping held back the real information. Okay. So much love, my brother, I said, but I respectfully disagree. So pay attention to this because this is how we're going to full circle this. If you analyze the markets with the right insights and without emotion, it actually becomes quite clear that daily moves up or down are opportunities, not just manipulation. Yes, manipulation exists. It always has, and it always will. That will never change. But listen to this. The real objective is education. Learning how to adjust and adapt to the current form of manipulation at any given moment in time. Reread that. Let that sink in. Let that become who you become in 2026. The real objective for you in 2026 is learning how to adjust and adapt to the current form of manipulation at any given point in time. If you can do that in 2026 and any year after, you will become a successful market participant. It is that simple. I would just caution against feeding the narrative that because markets are manipulated, they can't be navigated correctly because they absolutely can. We have to move past the belief that manipulation cannot be used to our advantage. The smartest participants understand that volatility equals opportunity. You just need the right data. And at CYPRX, we have that data. That's my professional perspective. And so I'll end it here with this. If you come into the CYPRX channel, I gave a shout out to prove that this is happening. If you have the right data, if you have the right mindset, if you have the right perspective, you can turn the manipulative tactics via the market makers into profit for your own pockets instead of what these fucking influencers, excuse my French, are touting to you guys, leaving everybody's pockets bleeding dry, misinformed, misaligned, and losing. Okay? So I said, this past month in our community, we had Dwayne, Max, Jordan, AP, Justin, and Eric, or Crypto Walls, in the Discord all pass challenges this month and became fully funded traders. I might be missing one or two other individuals who passed challenges as well, but let this be a wake-up call to you and all that put in the work and understand that those who believe in themselves and those who remain disciplined will rise to the ranks of profitable traders and investors. Those who navigate not only themselves, but also the waves of the market manipulation properly. We even also had Aquaman, only a few $100s away from passing his challenge, which is going to solidify this community with 3 profitable mentors to guide you all as we navigate the complexities of 2026, because we're going to see the same shit, you guys. All of these people with these millions of followers, right? They're going to put out the same distraction, informational bullcrap that they do every single year. And the people that really want to wake up, that want to peel back the curtains and see that it's all a form of manipulation, whether it's in the markets or it's in the form of influencers, it's all meant to distract you. I encourage you guys this year to block that out. Really do the inner work that it takes to understand that it doesn't matter whether the market's bullish or bearish. You can make money from these markets if you believe in yourself in order to do so and you have the proper guidance, the proper education, and the proper data. All right. So that's my spiel. I'll end my rant there. It's just absolutely insane that I just showed you guys together combined. These three influencers have over 2 million followers, and they are misleading the general public with information. If anybody in the comments after I upload this as a recording is like, oh, you sound like an bashing these people, you support liars, unfollow my channel and stop watching CyPRX. Period. Because if you support liars, I don't want you on my team anyways. I will never, and I've never been raised to support liars. I will always stand for what is right and support and try to help bring people up. Because what these influencers are doing with their platforms is the complete opposite. And it is because they're getting paid. I will show anybody gladly on a live call how much money I make on YouTube, and I guarantee you it is nothing compared to these people that are lying, right? It's garbage and it
That's
needs to
facts.
change. And it will only, this is the last thing I'll say.
Are, are,
It'll only change if we stop channeling energy into those people's feeds. And it all starts with one person, me, channeling that education, that information to you all. You all then decide to do it, hopefully yourselves blocking out that noise, and maybe eventually change the algorithm. Where a very small percentage of people up against the masses, but nonetheless, I will never quit trying to refix the algorithm and shape it the way that it should be shaped, which is boosting proper information and proper education to the masses instead of lies, right? I got sick and tired of it, which allowed me to change my life. All is required of you is to get sick and tired of it and understand that you have the ability to rise. You're a powerful, enlightened being. You're an energetic, massive amount of positivity is just flowing through you. You just have to unlock it. And these people do not channel that type of energy. They block it for you. But they have everybody distracted and manipulated, thinking that they give you positivity with the hopium, okay, with the lies. But that is, I'm telling you guys, study esotericism and energetic frequencies. It is all manipulative tactics to keep you not elevated in a nutshell. Okay.
that's real. You stay so stuck because it's almost like the just thinking about it, right? Because the trading as we know it involves a lot of psychology. And when you're in a trade, especially rookie time of mindset, you're in a losing trade and you're like, I hope this turns around. I hope this turns around. And that's how you end up blowing accounts because you're in this hopeful state. And I'm just thinking about it, those dopamine Moon Boy videos keep you in that same state that I hope this is going to happen tomorrow. I hope this is going to happen at the end of the month, like the Riddlers told me it was, right? And I hope, instead of using that time wisely to learn DeFi, study trading to where you can start making money and taking money from the markets. But it gets you in that hopeful state, man, 100%. And it's a trance that they're keeping people in.
This is what really allowed me to change my frequency years ago, is I started thinking to myself when I was watching influencers on the internet, because I used to be the type of guy maybe 4 or 5 years ago before I really started locking in and teaching myself fundamentals and just really reading like bank documents and listening to panel discussions that are shared in this community and have been for years on people that actually matter. Imagine when you're listening to somebody sitting in a room full of sophisticated, wealthy millionaire and billionaires. And if you couldn't play whatever you're listening to in a room full of those types of people without being laughed at, stop watching it. It's that simple. If you were to imagine yourself going into a conference room full of BlackRock, Citadel, Morgan Stanley, whatever, right? And you were to go in there and play a video off of YouTube that you watch for your investment, whatever, and you think to yourself, if I played this to these people, would they laugh at me and kick me out of their office, or would they sit down and listen to it with me? If the answer is they would kick me out of their office and look at me like I'm a clown, stop watching it. Ignore that. And I promise you, it'll just completely change how much money you make in 2026.
Yeah, yeah, 1000%, bro.